You're listening to the Identity Sports Podcast, where we dive into the world of faith, sports, and inspiration with athletes from across the country. I'm your host, Zach Vogel. Hey guys, welcome to the Identity Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Vogel. In today's episode, we dive into the life of rising senior Lauren Thompson of Lipscomb University. Lauren was named the 2022 ASUN Freshman of the Year, has been named ASUN Golfer of the Week 7 times since her freshman season, and she's won 7, must be a very lucky number for us, individual titles, and was named back-to-back ASUN Individual Conference Champion in 2023 and 2024. Outside of golf, she loves to play guitar, collect vinyl records, and go to concerts. So, Lauren, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I had the privilege of interviewing an earlier episode with your coach, Shannon O'Brien. I was just blown away by just the way that program is ran and how faith is so intertwined in everything you guys do. Tell us a little bit about your experience within that program.
Yeah, my time at Lipscomb has been nothing short of incredible. Just since my freshman year, we did have a little bit of a coaching change then. And thankfully, Shannon was able to step in and become our head coach after my freshman year. And yeah, it's been such a unique experience. I really believe that at Lipscomb, we're kind of doing something that not many other schools are doing, where we're playing at the highest level, but we have this higher calling, this focus of, who we are as Christ followers and who God has named us to be, and kind of let that be the driving force of what we do. And obviously, we love golf, we love competing, we love working hard and trying to be as successful as possible, but also just having that emphasis on, it's really not about us. This is all just to glorify God and use just the blessings He's given us to just glorify Him and hopefully kind of be this outreach to other teams or just anyone we come in contact with.
Yeah, it's so awesome to see sport done that way, which is truly what God intended sport to be used. It's just another tool for us to share the gospel. So I have to ask, during this whole recruiting process,
Mhm.
what stood out to you about Lipscomb?
Yeah, I was a little bit familiar with the school just prior to going through the recruiting process, and obviously I talked to a few other colleges and ultimately landed on Lipscomb. I think just the community there is so strong, and it is a little bit of a smaller school, which in a really neat way, everyone's just a little bit more closely knit. And you walk around campus, and you see people, and you just say hi, and there's just really friendly atmosphere there, that really pulled me in, and I felt like not only was I going to be poured into academically and athletically, but also spiritually, which for me was probably the most important thing looking for a school. And I just found that they had that balance down really well. I love Nashville. Nashville's a fun city. So that was also a little bit of a pull if I'm being honest, the music side of me really loved that. But yeah, just Lipscomb as a whole, it just felt right. It felt like the Lord just really led me there. And even with the timing, I committed right before COVID shut all of the recruiting down. So that was just a really huge blessing I feel like God gave me, of just being able to have that piece of like, okay, I'm going to Lipscomb. I've got my place set, because I know a lot of other girls in my shoes weren't as fortunate to have committed before the recruiting shut down. But yeah, it all worked out perfectly. I couldn't be more happy.
Yeah, it's the cool thing about it. It's a smaller school, but it's in a big city, so you almost get
Yeah.
the best of both worlds, where you get
Mhm.
that small town feel, but you can also go out to concerts and stuff like that that the
Yeah.
big city can draw. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool to hear that you committed right before COVID, because I know COVID definitely ruined a lot of people's seasons and all the eligibility, and especially in that recruiting process, to have that haven of, hey, I've got that secured. I know I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with just our faith and how sport works. Is, that sport winning at the end of the day is not the ultimate thing, and at the end of the day who you are in Jesus. And so how you go out and perform on the field doesn't define who you are. Is that a mindset that you always kind of had throughout your life? Is that really instilled through your program? Speak to how that mindset just kind of enabled you to play in a way, maybe even better golf.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky to grow up in a Christian household, so, that idea was always familiar to me, but as you're going through junior golf, it's a very individual thing, like, you're competing for yourself, I played a little bit in high school on teams, and that was great, and I loved that, but it's very much, "Okay, I'm having to do this for myself, I'm trying to play well, I'm trying to get recruited, just me, me, me." And since being in college, yeah, the whole idea of, "This is much bigger than me," it doesn't really matter at the end of the day if we're winning or losing. We're already secure in Christ, which is so freeing and so great, but I definitely did not think about that as much in junior golf as I have now, and credit to, Coach Shannon O'Brien, she's incredible, has really instilled that idea in all of us, and then just my teammates, being surrounded by people who are like-minded and always giving me that reminder and encouragement that, no matter how it goes, Jesus has got us, and our real worth is found in him, and it's definitely an idea that has expanded, and I've been able to just dive into, a little bit deeper since being in college, and you never you never really expect just all the triumphs and defeats that come with it, so, yeah, it's something that I feel like we're all continually learning and continually trying to lean into. It's a lot easier said than done when you're out there and, your day's not going as well as you'd hoped, and it's super easy to get, just frustrated and mad, which at times it's okay. But yeah, just ultimately realizing that, win, lose, or draw, he's got us, and that's what really matters.
Yeah, and what does that look like on the course? So obviously you've had your fair share of successes, but when you're out there and maybe the short game just isn't there that day, what is the mindset that you kind of go through, and how do you also be a competitor at the highest level in college, but also recognize that you're there for a different person? What is the balance between that for you?
Yeah, it's definitely been something I've had to learn and grow into just over my time at Lipscomb. I would say, a lot of different ways to go about it. We're really good at kind of picking, a phrase or some verses or just some like really positive reinforcement for us while we're out on the course. Whether we write it on our glove or we have it on our stat sheet or just something small like that is just like a constant reminder of like, okay, you know, yeah, say putts aren't going and you're getting a little bit frustrated. Like what's something that's gonna ground me and remind me, hey, it's okay. Let's breathe, just take a moment and kind of refocus and know that yeah, again, it's just bigger than you in this moment and it will be okay. And in our humanness, I think it's so easy to just get frustrated and even start, thinking negatively about yourself or just around and your circumstance. And just to be thankful that God's even given us the opportunity to be here. That's always good for me to just be like, hey, there's a lot of other things you could be doing right now. So but you're getting to play golf with your best friends and compete, which is something you love to do. So I think keeping that perspective is really, really big for me. And also, yeah, just little things out on the course. Shannon's great at reminding us and kinda knocking some sense back into us when we might be a little bit frustrated or upset. But yeah, just combination of things, and I feel like over time you figure out what kinda works for you. So yeah, it's been a great learning curve, but something I'm thankful for.
Yeah, absolutely. And golf is such a mental game. You're out there and
Mhm.
sometimes you're walking by yourself and you got to try and keep yourself grounded while also preparing for the shot. So, are there specific verses that you find yourself citing as you're walking through the course, or what kind of goes through your mind as you're preparing for some of those shots?
There's definitely been a few verses, just phrases that have stuck with me over the years. Proverbs 3, 5 through 6, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him." I think a lot of times I can think, "Okay, I've got this all figured out, like, I'm the one that's doing all this, I can call the shots, I can hit this shot," and all of that, and while yes, I might be physically hitting the shot, he's the ultimate provider of, like, peace and strength, and I find it pretty often if I start thinking, "Oh, I'm the one doing all this," or I'm only relying on myself, things can go south pretty quick. So, yeah, just knowing that it's ultimately not my understanding and he has everything, you know, already planned out. He's so sovereign, which brings me a lot of peace on the course knowing, "Hey, if this isn't going the way you want it to, or maybe it is, like, he's already written this story, and, I'm just thankful to be a part of it." And then another phrase, not a want, but a will. That one's really stuck with me. I think a lot of times in sports we can, everyone wants to win, everyone wants to be so successful. But there's this real like driving force of a no, I will do this, I will go execute. And yeah, so that's a little bit more of the competitive side of things. But yeah, those are some phrases and verse that I really love.
Yeah, no, I love that, and it's the you can't put the competitive side to you can't put the competitiveness to the side, right?
Hmm.
One of my favorite quotes is always, "Your success is not as great as your purpose," and
Hmm.
so the reason you're not always going to be successful in everything that you say and do, but you need to work at it, like to be a good steward of the gift that God has given you. You're going to prepare the best that you can. You're going to outwork everyone in the room, but you leave the results up to God, right? You're going to
Hmm.
hit this putt 90 times. You're going to chip the shot over and over again. So when you're in the heat of the competitiveness, that you know in your heart that you can hit that shot. And then the results are up to God. And it's really cool to hear you as a rising senior kind of already have these aspects that sometimes it takes people years to figure out. Hear about players on the PGA Tour and the LPGA where they win a tournament and they're like, okay, what's next? What's next? And they don't actually, they're always searching for something new or that next trophy. They're never seem fulfilled in your life. And to know that, hey, you've had some success, but you already know that, hey, this trophy is cool and all, but if the feeling goes away after a day or two, and the only thing that can truly fulfill you is your relationship with Jesus Christ. And
Hmm.
one of the questions that I like to ask, especially the golfers on this show, if you were to play a round of golf with someone in the Bible other than Jesus, what character would you most look forward to playing with?
In a joking way, Samson would be great to see how far he could hit it.
Okay.
No, that's joking. Man, maybe maybe Paul. Um, yeah, maybe Paul. I would just love to hear, you know, just more of his story and like just how the Lord has just absolutely did a 180 on his life. Yeah, I think that's the first one that comes to mind. Yeah, I think Paul would be just super cool. I
Yeah,
feel like
just
yeah.
all the different trials and stuff that he faced in his
Yeah.
life. Like when we talk about success or putting in the work, that's a guy that put in the work and then some. And there was a
Yeah.
lot of hardship that still came his way. And how did he
Mhm.
endure that? And how did, not always being able to see the full fruits of your labor, but he was
Yeah.
able to still endure that. I like the Samson one too. We've heard Goliath, because it's kind of the
Okay.
same thing of I bet he would just hit it 500 yards.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's always funny to hear
That's
those
funny.
answers. Kind of
Yeah.
going through your life and your testimony, when would you say is kind of the moment where you really kind of felt like God you really felt his presence and kind of took hold of your life?
Yeah, I think in college, there's just been a really sweet a little bit of, like, a transformation of my faith. I like I said earlier, like, I'm fortunate to grow up in a Christian household, just be surrounded by great people, and, my parents just poured into me so much, like, just how important, my relationship with Christ is, and I'm thankful for that, and I think since going to college, my views and my understanding of everything just really expanded because for the first time, really, I was surrounded by so many different people with so many different backgrounds and beliefs and walks of life. And that's just been one of the most incredible things about, just my time at Lipscomb is meeting so many different people and hearing their stories and getting to do life with them, specifically some of my teammates. I think we were lucky enough to take a mission trip to Scotland this past August, and that was just such a cool experience. And during that time, we're doing some Bible studies, just having some deeper talks, and it was just wild to me to think, if you look at, what we all thought we would do or where we would be. Like, none of us should be here. Like, we had a few girls that were transfers, we had some international girls starting to come in, and just to know, like, God has really kind of plucked us all from our different walks of life and put us here for this moment, um, to, just grow closer to Him and grow closer to each other, and ultimately, pour into this program and be something that glorifies Him and just be a light to other people. I think that was just such a moment of like, this is just so much bigger than me. And a really cool story, we got to play in the Bahamas, I guess it's 2 years ago now almost. And I had a teammate get baptized there. And that was just mind blowing. Like, God just blew my expectations out of the water for what I would experience during my time at Lipscomb. And that was just such a sweet moment to see and be a part of. So just moments like that where I'm just so humbled and grateful to be here, and just seeing how the Lord just uses different people in so many different ways, and hearing, girls that maybe didn't have much of a faith background coming here, and getting to know the Lord, and what it looks like to just love Him and live for Him and feel loved by Him. Some of those conversations and those moments are just fill my heart with just so much, like, joy and gratitude to be a part of and witness. So, yeah, it's been a really great, like, I guess how to explain, like, it's just expanded my mind and my heart to what loving Christ, can look like, and yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. Did before college, did you ever think of sport as a mission field for you?
Definitely not. I
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I just felt like it's just all sport. Like, I'm just here to play golf. I'm here to get a result. I'm here to hopefully, have a good round or good tournament, and I'm gonna go and start preparing for the next one. It's just that continuous cycle, and something Shannon's just been great with us about is really just focusing on what it means to be a light. There have been definitely a few moments where, I'm frustrated, I'm kinda, maybe talking a little bit negatively about myself or my round. She's like, "Okay, how are you gonna be a light today?" And, I might not wanna hear that in the moment, because 'cause I'm
Yeah.
like, "But did you just see me? I just missed that putt," or just something like that. But it's such a grounding moment of like, "Okay, how am I gonna be kind to these girls, or just show them, like, a kindness or a love that you're not really gonna experience in your day-to-day, tournament." Um, I think that's just been a really great focus for us as a team of just, what are the little things that we can do that others, might notice or be like, "Hey, that's different," or "This girl's treating me in a way I did not expect." Like, just really being conscious of how we're carrying ourselves and treating others. Yeah, that's we try to use the golf courses as a mission field as much as we can, and that's been a fun, thing for us to focus on this year and in past years, so
Yeah, it's really cool, and just what you're saying too. When you guys went to the Bahamas, and you had a teammate baptized. I mean, that's the epitome of the way that God intended sports to be used. And so when you're playing, you have that intention of, hey, you know, there's something bigger going on around me. It relieves
mhm.
that pressure and allows you to play free, almost like playing as a kid again, where you're really like, hey, I'm not in school right now. I am being able to play in the Bahamas, or I'm in
Yeah,
another state playing golf. I mean, it's almost like you recognize those moments and you're more thankful, which can allow you to play your best golf. And so it's so cool to hear those stories and to see stuff like that. Going into your senior year, do you feel like anything's changed for you? How are you preparing for kind of, almost like the last ride in college? What's that like for you?
yeah, it's definitely bittersweet. I'm super excited. I am thankful for each year I get there, and sadly, it will be my last. But, yeah, I think, we have some new girls coming in. I'm super excited just to meet them and for them to be a part of this, and yeah, I think I took a little bit of time off after regionals, but, I'm getting back into things, and yeah, I'm looking forward to having a good summer. playing a few events here and there. And yeah, just I think each year we're just trying to brainstorm ways of like, okay, how are we going to climb that ladder of, being elite and obviously wanting to be successful and make it to postseason and all those great things. But also just so expectant and ready to see what the Lord's going to do through our team, that it just excites me so much because usually I couldn't predict what's going to happen. It comes in the most unexpected and amazing ways. So yeah, just being really expectant and prayerful over just this next season, and just making sure everyone is wanting to be on board and feeling loved and cherished, to be a part of Lipscomb. And yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm enjoying a little bit of the summer break, not gonna lie.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be ready to kick it into gear come
Yeah.
August.
It's good to get a little bit of break. And you're a
Yeah.
graphic design major.
Yes.
So what are you wanting to do with that? Are you planning on still trying to play golf after college? Are you hoping to pursue a graphic design field? What's life look like for you after college?
Yeah. As of right now, probably no golf after college. I won't write it completely off, but yeah, as of right now, just looking to dive more into graphic design world and hopefully get a job and start working. And it's something I'm super passionate about, and I've been really fortunate to have chosen a major that I really do enjoy and love. I think it would be great to stay in the golf world. I'm doing a little bit of work as through an internship this summer for a golf design company. So that's been really fun to kind of see my two worlds collide. And yeah, that's the plan. We'll see. But yeah, I would love to dive more into graphic design after.
Yeah, for sure. So as you think of where you were at in high school, in the recruiting process, trying to pick what college is right for you,
Mhm.
what advice would you give to a girl your age going through that same process? If you could sit her down or even sit yourself down, what would you tell yourself in that moment, in that season of life?
Yeah, I think first just be patient. It Recruiting can be a very stressful time in any athlete's life. So just knowing it will work out, don't rush things, and be excited and really just take in this experience that you're getting because a lot of high school athletes, if you are getting recruited, they don't get that experience. So just really soaking that in. I think the biggest thing for me is, when you're visiting a school or trying to choose between schools, imagine yourself there if you weren't able to play your sport, or in my case, if you weren't able to play golf. Would you still enjoy being a student and doing classes there and being around just the student body? That's a really big thing because there will come a time when you're a little bit burnt out on golf or things maybe aren't going your way, and just making sure that it's a place that you're going to love, regardless if you're playing a sport. I think that was really huge. And then also just, you know, what's it gonna look like there for, I mean, if your faith is something that's important to you, like, what kind of structure do they have there? You know, having a school where I'm encouraged to, strengthen my walk with the Lord and just stuff like that is has been so huge for me. And I've just felt so poured into, and it's not always that easy at other schools. And yeah, I think that was a really important thing for me. Um, and yeah, just soak it in. It's a stressful, but it's a fun time. You look back and have some laughs, or about, I can't believe I did this or I thought this, because you just never know. But it'll work out in the end.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of wisdom in what you just said. Thank you for sharing, especially
Mhm,
try and picture yourself at the school not playing a sport is a big one.
mhm.
Because there's injuries, there's things, and just like you said, there's times where you may love golf to death, but there's times where you're going to hate it and you're
Yeah,
not going to want to play it, and you need a
yeah,
break. And to have those other areas where you can connect outside of that sport can be so fulfilling and freeing, and then you can come back more fresh to come back into the golf game. And that's the nice thing about college is you get those summer breaks where you can
mhm,
take a little bit of time off and kind of refresh and come back stronger in what you're doing the next year. That's cool. That's a lot of wisdom there. Thank you for sharing that, Lauren. In your mind, what does it mean to be a a Christian athlete?
That's a good question. I think it's just really this understanding of I I'm a in my case, I'm a daughter of the king before anything else. I'm called to live out that role and love others, and before anything else. I would love to introduce myself as a golfer, but, like, I would want people to know first, "Hey, I'm a follower of Christ, and I couldn't be more thankful for the work that he's done in my life." And yeah, it's just really kind of having that perspective of it's kind of like a little totem pole of, like, that should rank before anything else, and that should be my main focus, regardless of result or just where I'm at. And again, easier said than done. And because I mean, if you're playing any sport at any level, it's going to be a really big part of your life, to some capacity. And most days it feels like golf does consume most of my time. Um, but yeah, just having that reminder and having this kind of extra mission, of I don't only want to compete well and be successful, but like you said earlier, like how am I using this sport as a mission field and as a kind of like a bridge between sport and faith. It's just, yeah, really huge. And a lot of it I feel like just comes back to identity and how you view yourself, and you'll be able to view others in a better way too. It's great to play with other girls, and regardless of how it ends up, like, I just hope I'm like, hey, and this has happened in a few conversations between um some of us and some of the girls we play with and my teammates and other girls they've played with, but like, hey, like, it's either, hey, sorry the day didn't go like it did, but just know, like, Jesus loves you. And whatever comfort that might provide you, take it for what you want. But yeah, just giving them that reminder of, like, it's okay. Your worth is not in that sport. And instead in something much much greater and much more stable and much more fulfilling than golf will ever be. So there's definitely a huge comfort in that too.
Yeah, yeah, especially in golf. I mean, you can have so much dialogue with your opponent than a lot of other sports. And so, I
Yes.
played golf in high school for a year, and I remember we didn't really ever talk about golf. We talk about sports and other other things like that's
Oh
probably
yeah.
why I wasn't very good at golf in high school. But it's just like you have that time dedicated, and to hear stories where you guys are being cognizant of that in the moment and being able to pour life into someone who, because you're competing against other D1 colleges that aren't faith based. And so you don't know
Mhm.
the background of someone you're playing with, but God has
Yeah.
ordained you to be walking that fairway with that person at that specific time. And college is just such a cool experience. You touched on it a little bit earlier. I mean, you have people from all over the country, sometimes even other countries, different religions, backgrounds, all kind of like in this melting pot where
Mhm.
you God has orchestrated everything to come together for that moment. And you just get to do life together. And sometimes it's a messy life trying to figure things out,
Yeah.
first time away from home.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool experience for people to grow in their faith and learn that. And so it's so cool and encouraging to hear people like yourself, Lauren, going through that process and not losing sight in a university or all those things that you can quickly lose sight in, but to be pouring into your faith and pouring in your teammates. That really thank you for everything that you do and continue to do.
Oh, I appreciate that, and yeah, I'm so thankful that, the Lord placed me at Lipscomb and is allowing me to play the sport I love and compete at this level, with also a bigger purpose in mind.
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to pray for you and Lipscomb before we
Yeah.
sign off today.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the time to be here with Lauren and hear about her journey with Lipscomb Golf and a little bit about her career and all the learnings and the trials and the blessings that you've poured onto her life, God. I pray as she's going into her senior season, God, that you will just anoint her and comfort her and give her peace and strength as she takes, on even more of a leader role this year as the senior of the program. I pray that you'll begin to prepare the hearts of everyone involved in the university and all the competitors that they're going to play. That there just be a softness and an openness to you and to hear, even if it's not audibly speaking your name, but just the way that they carry themselves on and off the course, that there'll be a light for you. continue to bless them in everything that they do in life. And thank you for their willingness to share. And we pray, amen. You're listening to the Identity Sports Podcast, where we dive into the world of faith, sports, and inspiration with athletes from across the country. I'm your host, Zach Vogel.